Why, hello there. Just joking. Hello, high school, grade 7, 8 students, whoever might end up finding this video and watching it. Normally, we would try and post a video with the teachers. We didn't last week, and then this week we had our meeting canceled that was on Wednesday, when we often end up staying and filming our video teacher interactions after our meetings. And so Mrs. West and I decided that we would do a little bit of a game walkthrough here. So some of you have maybe played a lot of games in your life, and some of you have maybe played almost none. That's okay. Either way, we would just like to talk about a few of our favorites that we've been playing over this past period, and a few that we have not managed to play because either we don't have the people or we just haven't picked them up, and maybe we will after this. With that being said, Mrs. West, would you like to talk about a game?
Sure. So I will start off with a few of the classics. I really enjoy playing dominoes. We had it at home growing up. It was a much larger set than this, but you may have it in your game cabinet at home. We played a game called Mexican Trains. Mr. West wasn't really introduced to it until once we began dating, I think, or you might have...
I played dominoes with my grandparents once or twice, but when we started dating, we'd play a little bit with her family. A bunch of games, but dominoes was one of them.
Yeah, so very, very simple, but a lot of fun. Next we have Boggle, also a very easy game to start playing. Most people have played it. It's a word building game, and the idea is to get as many words as you can before time runs out.
3 minutes. So it's good because you can play the game for 9 minutes, or you can play it for half an hour. It kind of balances it out that way. We like the games that you can kind of pick up and put down.
Yeah, and then once you're sick of it, you're done. And then I wanted to mention too this classic game compendium that I found at Winners, I think it was, back when we were dating. And it just had pickup sticks, marbles, yo-yos, jacks, all sorts of things in it that you can play and kind of feel as if you're returning back to recess. Whenever you were in elementary.
Those are some of the old classic games. Some of the new ones, many of you will know Sushi Go because Miss Ju has introduced this game to the high school with the coffee hours and kind of game times that we've had. It's a very beautifully aesthetic game. Mrs. West loves the illustration that kind of goes along with it. Do you want to hold that and talk about it?
Sure, yeah. So the idea is that you are having a dinner party with the other players, and everything is based around sushi, and the game changes every time because you have quite a selection of...
Oh yeah!
No, I was trying to stop you.
Now she's probably wasted 2 cards. Unless there's... Oh, no, she wasted 2 cards. Rough go. Ladies and gentlemen, that might have been the game right there in that one play. We are neck and neck. It just comes down to whether or not one of us plays this out poorly. I would only have to take one sashimi to rock this boat. I'm not that kind of person though, Flip.
Really? Yes, you are.
Oh man, I really am that kind of person.
Each of these particular cards tells you to collect points in a certain way, or or do something in order to potentially
earn points, hinder your...
Yeah, hinder other
opponents.
Players, potentially, depending on how strategically you play. It's a lot of fun.
It's nice because there's like intro versions to this game and cutthroat versions of this game. Ways where you can get tons of points and everyone kind of racks them up, and ways where you're terrified you're about to lose a bunch of points too.
But you can start off really easy.
Our dog in the background, or not our dog, our landlord's dog, is going crazy. Another game that we've been loving as 2 people is 7 Wonders. 7 Wonders is an English and French game, but we have the French version. We have the French version because at a Christmas gift exchange, one of Joanna's cousin-in-laws, who doesn't speak French, most of her side of the family does speak French, got this game and decided to gift it away. And we won it and figured it out, and we've played it a lot, especially in times when we've gone and visited Mrs. West's family. But even more recently, we found that as a two-person game, it actually works. You play kind of a AI player that each of you take turns playing, and it works really well. So
something I want to add to that too is because the instructions and the game itself seemed so complex to us at first, we had no context for how to play. We'd never played with people who had played it before. We went onto YouTube in order to learn how to play, and you may find that if you're unsure of how to move forward with a new game, there are a lot of really good YouTube tutorials out there.
For sure. Ticket to Ride, New York. Some of you may know the Ticket to Ride game, but the New York version is shorter. It's 25 minutes. You can play it with 2 people, or you can play it with 4 people. It works really well as a evening game that's not going to take forever. It's not a Monopoly or a Risk where all of a sudden you're going to have a few hours of a game. It's short and brief and quick.
Yeah, no, it's a really neat one. I will mention Coup Handle. This is translated into English. It means you're bluffing. And the idea is that all the players are farmers and you're bidding on livestock, buying and selling it from one another, and the person with the most impressive herd at the end of the game wins. The instructions are in German, but you might find it on Amazon with the English version of the game might be on Amazon.
It's Cow Deal. I actually played this game with last year's grade 12s. So I played it with them once when they were in grade 11, and when they finished music class in grade 12, the thing they wanted to do on their final kind of half day when they came in was play Kuhando. So they asked me the week prior to bring this game in, and we actually played it. And then on the grad trip last year, a few of the guys that had never played hardly any board games before played this with us, and it was a good time. So we can't play this one right now because you need 3 players to play it, but soon enough we'll kind of get to play it again. Yeah. But yeah, we can't play it as 2 people, so it's not one of the games we're currently playing. What? It was just my disappointment at not being able to play Cow Deal.
Okay, so there's Battleship. No! No!
Oh, that was
Wow!
as many blowouts as possible in one go.
Oh no, it's in the plants! And there's kind of some soil on these ones. I'm gonna have to brush them off. They were all organized. I always organize them.
Well, the lid needs an elastic.
It really does.
That's okay. We just keep rolling. It's not even part of the blooper reel. It's just part of what happened. As I reorganized this game.
Yes, I don't remember if there are any others. The Bean Game, or Bohnanza, is a game that my mom loves a lot. Let me just check.
Yeah.
It looks here as if you can play it 2 people, so that's something that we will have to attempt to do and let you know what we find out. But generally speaking, it's a fun game for a group of 5 or 6 people, and the thing is that not every game can be translated to a 2-person game, even if it's a favorite for social get-togethers. But
yeah, so we've kind of been experimenting with them, and we have the ones we like and the ones we don't.
Right, yeah.
Any game that relies on like a lot of trading and there only being 2 people and you kind of have to bluff something doesn't work very well because you always know what's in the other person's hand.
Seven Wonders would be that way, as Mr. West mentioned, but
they add like a fake...
the 2 of you play a 3rd fake civilization, so it sort of evens the playing.
And you're always bringing in actually a new card, so you actually never quite know what's happening. So they thought that out well. Dutch Blitz, again, can't play it flawlessly 2 players. You can play it 2 players, and it's a speed game, good for hand-eye coordination. My mother loves this game and is slightly ferocious at it. My brother has stories of gouges on his hands from the speed at which this game is played and the aggressiveness of it. But that's it for the most part.
Battleship. We should just mention Battleship.
The classic.
Yeah.
The standard 2-person game, Battleship. 1v1 in good old analog person versus person game. So if you're tired of looking at screens, either go find your games cupboard or go on Amazon and pick up a game. My main recommendation would be Sushi Go 7 Wonders. Mrs. West did a little bit of retouching up to make people a little bit more modestly clad. There's some ancient civilizations, so just like as an art teacher she goes through and has to add Sharpie to a few books, you might find that you have to do that there. There's no magic or weird things that are happening in there. There's just a few ancient civilizations where they took a bit more creative freedom in the artwork than they needed to. Otherwise, every game here we feel completely at ease recommending to you. Play it with a sibling, play it with a parent, play it with a guardian, play it with your whole family. Engage with people. It's really important right now to pull off the screens, go outside, do things, but also spend time together doing things that are not on a screen, because we know there's a lot of that. We miss seeing all of you, and look forward to when there's some sort of resettling of everything that happens, and we know that in the midst of everything we can trust God with what is happening, even if there are a lot of unknowns. All the best, Mr. and Mrs. West.